Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your choice for all things Everton. I'm Gerry, joined today by Terry. All right, we need to talk about one of the stronger parts of Everton's lineup on Sunday, Fabian Delph. It's interesting. I want to say Fabian Delph because I feel like who have I heard saying Fabian Delph recently? Was it Pep on the All or Nothing series or what?
Probably
I don't know.
everyone calls him Fabian Delph, but
Is it Fabian?
It is Fabian, but everyone calls him Fabian. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Ben Kingsley on the All or Nothing series maybe called him Fabian Delph as well. I'm trying to remember. I don't know, but it always creeps in, and I want to say Fabian, but I'm trying to go back to Fabian. You know, it's like we're trying to make him like continental. It's Fabian Delph, and then I hear his voice from that All or Nothing show going, "The basics of football, the basics of football." You know, basically like chewing out his team in the locker room. So anyway, Fabian Delph is bringing his basics of football to us, which has actually worked out quite well. Guy cost $8 million. That's not bad. That's not too damn bad. Starting to look like a bargain and a half. He teamed up with Gomez on Sunday. Before that, he was playing near Schneiderlin in the center. Schneiderlin, lying a little deeper because that's what Schneiderlin does. Let's be honest. But it was interesting seeing him beside Gomez. Both of them doing some different things, but both very similar. Both, spraying the ball out to the sides. Delph looks like a really good passer right now as well. So tidy, smart. So what are we looking at here? What I see most frequently is Delph is our new Barry. All right, so obvious, not carbon copies. I think it's just the concept of it. But how are you feeling about Fabian?
I'm feeling pretty good. He was brought in with very little fanfare. Nobody expected it. It was very much a under the radar type signing. Very cheap. I think the comparison with Barry's, it's an easy one to make, isn't it? He's coming in from Man City. He's a slightly older player. He's very cheap, but he'll go straight into the team and add a lot of qualities that aren't already in the team. So even our better players, none of them have got his experience. Certainly, none of them have got his in-game intelligence, his sort of his football and acumen, as you put it. He's not as old as people seem to think he is. He's old for an Everton signing under Marcel Brand. So people, I think, have got it in their head that he's like an older player. He's 29. He could
29. He turns 30 in November, I think.
Yeah, that's feasibly another 2-3 years, 4 maybe, depending on on his position. At being in peak condition and being in his prime. We got Gareth Barry a lot older than that, and we got a couple of years out of him. I don't think I know now. It's bore out that Delph was not brought in to play the position that he played on the weekend. He's not going to be like a defensive midfielder or an Idrissa Gueye replacement. They were at pains to stress that, despite some people on podcasts saying they don't believe it. It turned out. Remember that one?
Yeah, who was that bearded, bespectacled gentleman?
But he was great, and I think we will see him in that sort of role, but only as a short-term measure because of the injury to Kabaman. I mentioned in the other video. I think going forward we'll just stick with that sort of midfield formula because it worked. It's so comfortable with the players, and we worked with it all last season. But long term, I think Delph's got a big part to play, in the squad across several different positions. He could play, the position he played on Saturday. He can cover for Andre Gomez. He can cover a fullback. Obviously, we've seen him do it at Man City. Just a very shrewd signing. Some other really good teams have made signings like that. They're not glamorous. They're not like young. A lot of teams have got like young stars like Moise Keane and Richarlison, but the real like glue that holds the team together are these older players who get the younger players through the more difficult situations. And you can see already that Delph is a little bit of a leader on the pitch. He's giving orders out from the middle. He's telling Andre Gomez, what positions to take up, to complement him. I think he's going to be an invaluable player. He's one of those players who you could see like he'd be like the player of the season because nobody expects it to be him, but when the actual football happens, he's just invaluable. Everyone thinks it's going to be the star attacking players, but no, it's actually that nitty gritty nuts and bolts type player in the centre midfield. So fitness permitting, because that's always been the question mark over Fabian Delph, is whether he can stay fit and stay injury free. If he can, I think he's going to be crucial to us because he's such a good player and he's went straight into that midfield and looks good already.
I think the glue is a good word. I remember people talking about, like, I'm trying to remember what Saturday Night Live cast member said it, but they were talking about Phil Hartman. I think it was Chris Rock who was talking about Phil Hartman back in the day. I'm totally showing my age, and I'm sorry. But Phil Hartman was one of my favorites. And Chris Rock used to say, Phil Hartman, we used to call him the glue because he would do everything. And he would do it completely professional, completely serious, work his ass off, and he didn't have to have the biggest role in the room. He didn't have to be the star of that particular. He treated every single role like it was important to him. It could be some minor thing, and I feel like we need more people like that. We need more players like that. And he has come in to zero fanfare, none. If you looked at a list of our signings, he's at the bottom as a side note, where people are like, you guys signed Delph, huh? And that's what I heard. That was the exact reaction I got from a Liverpool supporter friend of mine. And he was not he's not trying to be a jerk. He was just like, oh, you guys got Delph, huh? I saw that. Yeah. And I'm like, and I was kind of like, yeah, we got him. He's not meant to be our star signing. He's not, But as far as his impact goes, I'm a little concerned about the fact that he is 29 and he will be 30 in November. And if Gbamin is hurt, I'm a little concerned about Delph having to play as much as he might have to. That is a concern, especially like thinking about holiday season. That worries me. It does. I'm a little worried about being thin around that time. So as far as Delph goes, are we thinking let's pretend, fast forward to when Marco Silva is running his team the way he wants to run it, potentially in a 4-3-3. Do you see Delph as being a better fit in a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, completely in a 4-3-3. You've got to remember as well that we also tried to sign Abdullah Decore. Mm-hmm. So I think what Brands and Silva eventually want to have is it applies to the whole squad, I guess, but like a lot of options in the different positions. So I think Delph's been brought in under the assumption, we're also getting JP Gbamin. We're also looking to bring in Abdullah Decore. We've signed Andre Gomez. We've put Tom Davies on a new contract. Morgan Schneiderlin's still here. I think he wants to have multiple options across the whole team, so they don't all have to play every game. Obviously, Delph typically, we imagine wouldn't, if with everyone fit, play 38 games. He'd come in for some games and he'd have us running the team in some position, and then he'd move into a 4-3-3, or he'd play the position he was at the weekend in a 4-2-3-1 to give us a bit more energy in the middle. I'm all for it. Like I want to have Iwobi and Bernard. I want to have Gbamin and Gomez for one position, and this is what we've not had for so long. Actual proper depth. I mean, we're still not quite there. We've got depth in some areas, but we're very thin in others. But I think next summer that we'll, all things going well, we'll have proper options throughout the entire squad. And I don't just mean our first teamer and a understudy. I mean, like, proper depth where you can feasibly start any of your two players in each position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Delph's a big part of that. He's only 30 this year, and I'm at pains to mention that lot. But Liverpool did the same thing with James Milner, brought in an inexpensive player who was older, but he's been invaluable because of the positions he can fill and the experience he brings, the winning mentality. Milner had won a league at City as well, which Delph's won too. Obviously, Liverpool didn't invent buying an experienced player to complement a young team, but it's a good recent example of that working really well. And I think Delph's going to be like that next season if we do get Doucouré and Kabamen's fully fit. We'll still see Delph. We'll still see we'll see a lot of them because centre midfield in a pressing 4-3-3, what Silva seems to want to play. You're gonna need a lot of players, especially in that middle area, because you're gonna make them tired. If you want to have a front three which stays high up the pitch and is attacking all the time, then you need a middle three who can cover the ground and defend for them. And we haven't got that at the minute because obviously we've got players injured and we didn't get some of the targets we were after. But eventually, I think that's the plan. You want to have centre midfielders who can cover for your attacking fullbacks and your front three, and I think Delph fits right into that, especially in a three.
Yeah. Clearly, it seems like Silva likes the way the idea of being able to have some fluidity, to be able to have options. The idea of being able to put having some players that can play more than one position. You know what I mean? It's like look at Richarlison. He could play striker, or he can play on the right or the left. All right, Iwobi can play on the right or the left. I know he was brought in to play on the left, but he can also play the 10 if he needs to. That's a thing. The more I watch our attack, it looks like it's going to be a lot of, kind of overlapping, going to the other side. You know what I mean? Like being able to be interchangeable. And that's possible that he values that. That's one of the things Silva values is players that can do those roles, multiple different roles. Which, let's be honest, if you're a coach and you've got these they're almost like utility players. They have a best position, but they'll listen and say, okay, yeah, you know what? I'll play left back for you. And that's the way Delph is. You got to be an intelligent player to be able to play more than one role. You got to be smart. And not every player is like that. So, so
lots of the great teams in this league have had those players as well. Like Man United always had, the likes of Michael Carrick and John O'Shea and players like that. And City had Fabian Delph. We've got their one. Like the great teams are not just about the star, strikers and like the wingers, the midfielders, the attacking players. You need those unsung, like sort of, dirty job players, and that is exactly what Delph is. He's done it at the very highest level, and he's clearly been brought in to fulfill that role here. So just a goodbye, just a very shrewd goodbye.
Yeah, and I like bringing in someone who's going to hold people accountable. He will get in people's face. He will get in your face and let you know what? You suck right now. Pick it up. You know what I mean? You know what? We're not actually, we look like ass right now. Can everybody just get it together, please? He's the kind of person who will speak up in a locker room because I've seen it on a show. All right.
That is exactly what I think we brought Rooney in to do, and obviously not entirely his fault, but it didn't work out like that. There's too much going on. The team wasn't right, but Delph's coming into a far more capable, far more settled team than Rooney was. So it's basically our second throw at that type of player, that sort of older player who's there to, support the younger players. Like Moise Keane is 19, Richarlison, I think he's 21, is he? 22? They're both young. These players are the headline grabbers, but you need a Fabian Delph. He'll never be, the guy who gets all the headlines, but he's crucial because the other players need that player.
Will you go out on a limb and say that he is our most important signing of the season? Will you go there?
No, I won't.
Terry,
Because
I'm trying to sensationalize this somehow. Stop bringing your logic and your rational thoughts. Is he the most important?
I will tell you, I'll give you something even better. Our most important signing is Moise Kean, because we've not signed a striker to fulfill the whole Lukaku left. Doesn't mean he'll be as good as Lukaku, doesn't mean the signing will come off, but he is a attempt to fill that gaping hole we haven't filled for 2 years. But I am going to make an early call now that Fabian Delph, providing he doesn't get a long-term injury, will be our player of the season.
Wow, that's the limb I wanted you to walk out on. Yes. Walk that limb. Very nice.
Long term, Moise Kean's more important for the status of the signing, the position it is. But this season, I think Fabian Delph could be an early shout for player of the season, just because I think he's that type of player. I think he's going to do that type of job, and I think he's going to be that important to this team that is still in a little bit of flux because there's so many new players.
Awesome. You heard it here first. All right. Moise Kean is going to be 11 times better than Lukaku, is what Terry says.
I think I said 12.
12 times better than Lukaku. and Delph, player of the season shout. That is, yes, I like it. Bold Terry. I'm all in on that. Very cool. All right. So we should finish on that because that's the best thing to finish on. Yes. Bold predictions. All right. So anyway, if you're digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. If you want more Bold Terry, check out Liverpool Echo Fan Jury, where they print what he types. He sends them like an email with his words on it, and they put it with other fans' words. And it's great. I love how I just explained what a fan jury was. You're welcome. Also, I want to hear more stories of huggable Terry. So yeah, maybe he'll make some bold predictions to you in person after you hug. All right. So yeah, and that's it. That's our final video segment for this little bunch. We're going to move on now to a lightning round. So if you're watching this as a video, you should pop over to the pod and learn more about Terry as a human being. And if you don't care about Terry as a human, give it a pass. All right, so let's move on. We'll talk to you later. Bye. But until then, it's good. You know, that particular combination with him and Gomez. Oh, my God. Sorry. Hold on a second. Look at this.
What was that?
Oh, my gosh.
I heard it, but I couldn't see it.
Oh my gosh. And I just ruined my headphones too because of that. Oh my gosh. I gotta go get some headphones now, Terry. This is insane.
Okay, go on.
My candle exploded because it burned out.
Oh, it's like a jar one.
It's a glass jar. Okay.
Yeah. It was so close to the bottom that it cracked.
It was yeah, the glass cracked because I burned it for too long. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out what Marcel Brands is actually trying to tell me right now.
That's happened to me before that. But with mine, it was like midnight and I was on my own. It was just, I honestly shit my pants. It was so loud.
I gotta go get another pair of headphones. Hold on. So clearly something that Marcel Brands is trying to tell me, based on that, is that he's the one who signed Fabian Delph. I need to be giving credit to him. And apparently I should have better candles at my altar. My Marcel Brands altar. So, yeah. Sorry, Marcel. Praise him. And I think we should be able to move on now. What the hell? Okay, anyway. Yeah, podcast people who are listening right now are very confused. My candle exploded, podcast people. If you heard that pop, my candle that I always burn at my Marcel Brands altar exploded. So that's what you got right there. Anyway, all right. So